Bow, 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 bow. What's up? What's up? What's up? This is the newest episode of What's Up with Giancarlo. This is lesson 8.2, percents, fractions, and decimals. Let's get it going. So, writing percents as decimals and fractions. You can write a percent, underline it, as an equivalent fraction or as an equivalent decimal. Okay? Very important. Equivalent percents, decimals, and fractions all represent equal parts of the same whole. Okay? Very important to remember that. Percents and an equivalent fraction or equivalent decimal, they will all represent equal parts of the same whole. So, example one, Lorenzo spends 35% of his budget on rent for his apartment. Write this percent as a fraction and as a decimal. So we have 35%. And if you watched 8.1, at the 8.1 lesson with me, then you would know that 100 is very important to percents. 100 is very important to percents. So percent means per 100. So 35% is just 35 over 100. But when we do fractions, we always want it in simplest form. So, simplest form, we find the GCF, or greatest common factor, of 35 and 100. So, my factors of 35 are 1, 5, 7, and 35. So 35 does not go into 100. 7 does not go into 100 evenly. 5 does. So I will divide them both by 5. And when I do that, 35 divided by 5 is 7, and 100 divided by 5 is 20. They showed me it right here, but I figured I'd go all the way through it so everybody understands. Then 35%, we just write it out as 35 over 100. And we know 35 over 100 is 35 hundredths. So my tenths, the 3 goes into my tenths place, and then the 5 goes in the hundredths place, and that's where it ends. So I have my percent, fraction, and my decimal. So an easy way to remember how to change a decimal to a percent or a percent to a decimal, write this out for you. So to turn a percent to a decimal, move 2 places to the left, okay? So to turn percent to decimal, move 2 places to the left. Okay? To turn a decimal to a percent, move 2 places to the right. All right. I'm going to pause right here so you guys can write this down. Okay. And we're good. Let's keep it moving. Your turn. Pause. All right. Here is the answer. Next. Pause. And here's the answer. All right, next. Pause. All right, and here's the answer. All right, moving on. Pause. All right, now here's the answer. Moving on. Pause. All right, now here's the answer. And moving on. Pause. Now here's the answer. Okay, let's get it going. Not really using models, gonna skip this. Skip that. All right, writing fractions as decimals and percents. You can write some fractions as percents by writing an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. Denominator of 100. Underline that or write that down if you don't have the packet. This method is useful when the fraction has a denominator that is a factor or a multiple of 100. If a fraction does not have a denominator that is a factor or a multiple of 100, you can use long division. You can use long division. If you don't remember from 8.1, or if you have not seen that video, in 8.1, I showed you how to use long division to find out what 1/8 is as a decimal. Go back and look at that. Or watch right here. I'm going to do it again. Example 2. 96 out of 200 animals treated by a veterinarian are horses. Write 96 over 200 as a decimal and as a percent. So we have 96 over 200. What I need to do is write an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. So I'm just going to write out a fraction with 100 on the bottom. How do I get from 200 to 100? That's right, divided by 2. So whatever I do to the bottom, I must do to the top. So I find out, it's right here. But if you guys don't know, I could do long division. 2 goes into 9 4 times. I get 8. 1, the 6 comes down. 2 goes into 16, 8 times, 16, 0. So my answer would be 48 over 100. So 96 over 200 is equivalent to 48 over 100. So 48 over 100, we would know is 0.48 as a decimal. And then if we want to take this and make it a percent, to make a decimal to a percent, we move the decimal point over to the if we're making a percent from a decimal, we move it to the right twice. So we would have 48%. All right. So we get 48 over 100, 0.48, and 48%. Notice that the denominator is not a factor or multiple of 100, 1/8. You cannot turn the 8 to 100. So 1/8 of the animals treated by the veterinarian are dogs, right? 1/8 as a decimal and as a percent. So they go through it. The bottom is on the outside. The top is in the under the division sign. So Okay? Write that down if you ever need that for long division, just so you guys remember. So they work it out 1/8. They divide it. You keep adding zeros when you can't do anything else, and then you bring the zeros down, and they end up getting 0.125. So I have the thousandths place. So this is going to be 125 over 1,000. But when I do this, I need to get the bottom to be 100. So basically, I'm taking away a 0, so I'm dividing by 10. I divide by 10. And all I'm going to do is take this decimal point and move it over to the left once. So I'm going to end up with 12.5. Whenever you take away a 0, you move the decimal to the left once. All right. So I have 12.5 over 100. So we know that is 12.5%. All right. Your turn. Pause. And here's the answer. And here's the last your turn of a lesson. Pause. And here's the answer. It's just extra work. All right, everybody, that's the end of the lesson. And we're done. So everybody knows, if you're watching this video, you're a part of the class. I'll see you next video, everyone.